For those of you who were born in the 1990s and early 2000s, we all have our childhood memories of watching TV to entertain ourselves, whether it be the adventures of SpongeBob on Nickelodeon or hanging with Phineas and Ferb on Disney Channel. But have you ever saw a show on these channels that popped up one day, and the next day, unlike the big shows that have 5 seasons or so, these barely got to last a season and never heard from again? Well, this video is about exactly those shows. For a show to qualify for this list, it must have not lasted more than 2 years, was barely promoted by their channel, and was sidelined to either sister channels or late night reruns. Many of the shows on this list barely got to last a season, so if you remember any of these shows, feel free to get nostalgic with me. This top 10 list won't be in order as to make things fair and cause all of these shows have their own unique story to them. Number 1, The Buzz on Maggie. This show premiered on Disney Channel in June 17, 2005 and took place in a junkyard city called Sticky Feet, where we focus on a fly named Maggie Pesky, who has dreams of becoming a rock star. Her personality is bursting with the need to rebel as she has several misadventures that lead her down the wrong path, to which she has to learn her lesson each time. Nowadays, the show has a retrospect that has people divided that Maggie is spoiled and unlikable, but I however think this show relishes in its style and takes advantage of the lives of flies quite well, whether it be the gross out humor that isn't for everyone, or the pop culture references that'll be funnier if you know them by heart. The show sadly lasted just 21 episodes, pulling the plug on May 27, 2006, after which the show was reduced to late night reruns. This became the one show that would be on if you woke up super early, and this is what came on before Stanley. All my people born in 1996 to 2002 will remember this. Number 2, Dave the Barbarian. This is another Disney Channel cartoon that didn't get to last either, and premiered on January 23, 2004. The show took place in the medieval times and focused on a barbarian named Dave and his friends and family as they went on adventures together. To be honest, I wasn't really into the show like that, and I couldn't tell you much about it, frankly because they stopped airing reruns by the time I grew old enough to graduate from Playhouse Disney. But from what I see now, this would have had better luck on Cartoon Network. It isn't too bad of a show. Also, both Dave and The Buzz on Maggie are not available to watch on Disney+, but it's very easy to find all their episodes archived somewhere on the internet, so feel free to check them out if you can. Number 3, Whatever Happened to Robot Jones. Well, the title is very accurate and aged well too. What did happen to Robot Jones? Well, it got cancelled, that's what. He shut down, he got archived, he got shelved. But why? The show focused on Robot Jones as the school's teenage robot. No, that's another show. These episodes saw him researching things about human life, whether it be music or gym class. He got friends and a crush that he follows while trying to battle rivals who want to ruin his research. For the most part, the show is by the numbers and doesn't stand out much in my opinion, but the novelty with the first season intrigues me. Originally, the voice for Robot Jones was done using the text-to-speech function on Microsoft Word 97, similar to how Otto from WALL-E was voiced using Macatalk. However, this novelty would be written off, and an actual voice actor named Bobby Block was brought on for Season 2, who would later redub over the old Word 97 voices in Season 1 reruns. But it doesn't matter anyway, as the show didn't get past 13 episodes and only ran from July 19, 2002 to November 14, 2003. Another World with my smartphone has more episodes than this, and that anime is basic as fuck! But nevertheless, if any of you remember this, congratulations, you're a hardcore Cartoon Network watcher. Number 4, Sym-Bionic Titan. I think everyone can agree this show was done so dirty. This show was beaming with potential and proved to be one of the better shows that Cartoon Network ever came out with. Lasting just one season in 2010 to 2011, the show focused on a trio with an alien princess, soldier, and a robot who come to Earth and combine themselves to become the one and only Sym-Bionic Titan. Taking inspiration from franchises like Robotech and Voltron, Genji Tartakovsky had called this the most challenging project he's ever done. He also acknowledges that this show has unfinished business to complete, stating that the show had at least 10 more episodes before the show was cancelled, reportedly due to Cartoon Network failing to acquire a toy license for the show. It goes to show they prioritize the money over the content, and it continues to be the norm to this day. Look no further than David Zaslav dooming the company forever with all these cancellations, but if the revival of Samurai Jack was any indication, we shouldn't count Sym-Bionic Titan out just yet. As recent as 2023, Gendy still hopes to continue the story. Whether this will be animated or a comic or a novel, we can only hope their story isn't over yet. Number 5, Robo-Tommy. Okay, this one is more obscure and less known than probably all the others on this list. And if you know this one, once again, you're the most hardcore Cartoon Network fan out there. This one lasted just 10 episodes. Only 10! That's a mini-series right there. And that's not a shot to Over the Garden Wall. That show is fire! Robo-Tommy focused on these two robots who go to school on their planet that's being run by robots. They're killing each other or whatnot. Basically, they're out here surviving in the trenches. Looking back, it stood no chance running alongside Adventure Time and regular show, as it came out the same year as those two, and they trampled all over any hope of Robo-Tommy ever getting any clout. In retrospect though, it's not too bad of a show itself. It was also on Netflix at one point, surprisingly, despite being one of the most neglected and short-lived shows in the network's history, and I got to watch the first 2 episodes there. Anyone looking for a short series to watch can go check this out if they please, or Over the Garden Wall, whichever one's fine. Number 6, The Exes. Basically, this was Nickelodeon's answer to The Incredibles and took inspiration from other media like James Bond and Get Smart. It had this family of spies who obviously must protect their identities as all superheroes do, but they have trouble doing so. They'll have an interesting talk with Peter Parker about that, I'm sure of it. But anyway, this show came and went. It actually got some decent promotion on the channel from what I remember. Still, it wasn't able to last from November 25, 2005 to November 25, 2006. Exactly just 1 year on the air. 365 days. Hey, at least it lasted longer than the Virtual Boy. Personally, I prefer the Replacements over this. It also had a similar thing going with Todd and Riley's parents being a spy and a daredevil, but the X's still provided entertaining moments and worth a shot if you have the spare time. And it's also the X that I remember, unlike Twitter, which became Max. Number 7, Catch Scratch. This one I feel was screwed over big time. Had this been on Cartoon Network, it would have lasted at least 3 seasons easy. This would have been that show that came on before Chowder. This show follows a trio of cats who are left filthy rich after their owner passes away, and we follow their wealthy lifestyle mixed with adventures. The show itself sticks out like the quiet kid in the classroom. They exist. You won't acknowledge them as much, but they exist. Not a jab at the show. It is decent enough for what it is, but it begs to be on Cartoon Network rather than Nickelodeon. Just think, around this time they had just screwed over My Life as a Teenage Robot, which deserves its own video just by itself for how screwed over that show was. In fact, there's tons of them. But the point being, Nickelodeon was hoping all their shows would die just to milk SpongeBob to death. And frankly, Catch Scratch is on that list in my opinion. That would have benefited on another network. Number 8, El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera. Okay, now this one may stick out like a sore thumb depending on how you look at it. On one hand, the fact this takes place in a Mexican-American city that's depicted to be full of crime does reek of stereotypes about Hispanics, but on the other, it's still a better Latino representation than Hoy Primos. The show will follow Manny Rivera, a 13-year-old boy with superpowers trying to decide whether to be a hero or villain. His father is a superhero himself and is hoping that Manny grows up to fight evil. I do hear a lot of people grew up liking this, and I myself didn't watch it much, but looking at it now, I'd say it's up there with Mucha Lucha for how they both catered to the same demographic and had similar entertainment to offer. The show was created by Jorge Gutierrez, who later went on to direct The Book of Life, which received positive reception from critics and audiences alike, and also reads like the predecessor to Coco, being that they both deal with the afterlife. Number 9, The Zeta Project is the only installment in the DC animated universe that I'm aware of to barely get any attention whatsoever. And why is that? Well, the show is based on a character from Batman Beyond called Zeta, who is a humanoid robot designed to carry out assassinations for the NSA. However, when he finds out that one of his targets is innocent, he goes rogue and refuses to kill again, wanting to value life and think about being good, while being aided by a runaway girl named Rosalie. Being cancelled after 2 seasons from 2001 to 2002, this show actually isn't too bad, and while it isn't the most groundbreaking thing to come out of the DC universe, it still does its thing and has even been referenced in future DC comics. It goes to show the level of fan service that the show receives proves the Zeta Project shouldn't be counted out, regardless of its impact. It deserves more attention. But what doesn't is number 10, Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island. Almost all of you probably ain't heard about the show at all until YouTubers dug the show out of the trash can and roasted it to death. In case you don't know, be glad you haven't. This is Kids WB's SpongeBob ripoff that was so embarrassing that rumors are that Rob Paulson disowns this show. It reeks of direct ripoff from the similar island aesthetic and the similar characters with little to no originality whatsoever. I'm sorry that you had to see the list and like this, but hey, there's always gonna be one bad egg in the basket. Also, I just had to get this out there. Had it not been shamelessly ripping off other shows, this could have been halfway decent to be fair, with its slice of life frenetic episodes about Fred's imagination causing all kinds of trouble. But the finished product reeked of how do you do fellow kids. Okay, not as much as the Powerpuff Girls reboot.
If you need someone to sing so bad, you do it! No me gusta!
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
But still, what was this? How did it happen? But hey, it could be worse. Remember that in Canada, this was on Teletoon, where Total Drama aired. And guess where they're at now? On second thought, check out Coconut Fred. It would kill less brain cells by comparison. And that is my top 10 list of cable TV cartoons that barely lasted a season or a year. These are all shows that are unique in their own way, except for that last one. I would recommend a lot of these to you who would like to support shows that got screwed over and shows that deserve more attention. Please make sure to subscribe and like this video and see my other videos as well. Thanks for watching.